Coming down to about the 12-yard line. Big hole up the middle. And a good run back to about the 36-yard line.
And the ball stopped by number 24.
Yeah, we'll see how that Escalon offense does. Sometimes those guys sitting over there on the sidelines chomping at the bit, wanting to get in. Sometimes a mistake will happen.
Randy Doherty made that tackle, but it was a nice run back from the 12 to, like, let's give him the 37. So it's 1st and 10 for Escalon the first time tonight. And Escalon comes up in their tight running formation, double wing, and straight up the gut for a few yards. Is number 41, Jesus Duran. Their best runner is actually their quarterback, Nick April, who's been averaging about 10 yards a carry for the number of carries he has. I think it's about 23.
Yeah, and he's a big kid.
Yeah, he's about 6'2", 210. But you can see that was a gain of 4 for Duran. And this time power to the right side and handed to the right side, and that's again Duran, and he's ahead. Looks like close to a first down. So 2 runs and a first down.
Yeah, you can see they're just testing out the line, seeing which plays are going to work on which side of the line.
Yeah, and that's typical of Escalon. Escalon usually, they have a good passer usually, but they don't use it very much.
Only when they need to.
First down on the Escalon 47-yard line. So 10 yards in 2 plays, and this time it's misdirection, and Bret Hart was ready for it. That was number 20, Jacob Caton.
That was Jesse Green.
And Green, yeah, made the tackle 2 yards deep in the end zone. As you can see, they run that typical double wing where there's an awful lot of misdirection plays that they run.
Right, Jesse did a great job of sniffing that one out. He came out from the left-hand side.
So it'll be 2nd and 12 for Escalon. Under 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Bret Hart up 3-0 on a nice field goal. And here's that misdirection and faked, and this is April, and he's fast even though he's big, and he's knocked out of bounds hard by number 88, Dan Marwin, and he was belted out of bounds for no gain.
I'll tell you, this is exactly what Bret Hart needs right here. They make a defensive stop. That Escalon team's going to be wondering what's going on.
Well, that's April, as you can see. He is 6'2", 210, but he's quick.
He's quick, but he just got hit by Marwin pretty hard.
He sure did, and if you notice how many fakes they make. You know, I mean, they got 4 guys pretty much they can hand it. They'd hand it to the guard if they could.
Okay.
You know,
guard eligible play, huh?
Absolutely. Well, guards, you can hand it to anybody you want. Straight drop back for April, and he's got the man out the side. Chased down and knocked down for no gain is Randy Doherty knocks down Jacob Canton, and you can see that play develop. Canton let the blockers, he let the defenders through and just waited for the pass, but they were ready for him, so it'll be 4th and 12.
Great job by Doherty.
Yeah. And we have a timeout called. We'd like to thank our sponsors once again. Abbott's Pass Gas up in Arnold.
KW Emerson, San Andreas.
Pinnell's Carpet 1 in Angels Camp.
Calaveras Lumber out of Angels Camp.
Blooms and Things, Arnold, Angels Camp, and San Andreas.
Good old Vintage Realty out of Angels Camp.
Darby Plumbing in Douglas Flat.
Abbott's Pass Mountain Chronicle out of Arnold.
And American Carpet and Floor Covering in Arnold. Thank you, American Carpet and Floor Covering, for joining our sponsors here for Bret Hart football. As number 41, Jesus Duran goes back to punt.
For the Cougars, Jesus Duran.
And he gets the kick away, but it's high, but it's very short. Bret Hart has to get out of the way. Nobody touches it. But it gets a nice Escalon bounce, and it's going to roll down to about the 12.
And the roll, Cougars have a...
So a short, high punt becomes a long punt with a roll.
Yeah, you got a good roll out of it, that's for sure.
And with 1:47 left to go in the first quarter, Bret Hart takes over again to try it on their second drive. So they stopped Escalon that first time, and we're talking about hard hits.
Well, this is a part of the field right here where you don't want to make foolish mistakes. You don't want to give the ball back that far down in your end zone.
So let's see what Bret Hart has planned. Well, they got it spread wide, 2 to both sides. Lone man in the backfield. Here comes a fly guy. Handed off on the right side. There's an opening, and going through for about 5 yards is Salele.
Down by number 59, Brandon Collins. Salele picking up about 6 yards.
Yeah, number 50 did a great job from pulling from that guard position off the center.
That's Thomas Onganzo.
I was waiting for you to say his name, Mike. Sorry, Thomas.
That's okay.
I'll just call you Thomas.
Oh, Thomas, nice job. Once again, spread everywhere. Fly guy to the left side this time. And here comes Radley rolling, throws the pass, it complete. Little juke and a few more yards for
First
number
down to
2, Austin Epps.
Number 2,
Austin Epps up to about the 31-yard line. You know, I thought that was thrown to the shorter receiver. And
he thought so too. He jumped for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they flooded that zone, and Austin was right there.
There he was, 31-yard line now. So they go from the 12 to the 31-yard line and start of a nice little drive here.
I'll tell you what, if they can make a drive right here, that Escalon team's just going to be sweating.
46 seconds and counting in the first quarter of play at Bret Harte High on September 28, 2007. Bullfrogs ahead 3-0, and there's the misdirection handoff up the center for a good gain of about 5.
45, Jesse Green.
That was Jesse Green. That's when the quarterback turns to the left and then spins to hand it off on the misdirection, and he does a 6-yard gain.
2nd and 4.
I'm not sure whether they're going to get another playoff in this quarter or not. There's about 14 seconds. Well, it looks like they might, if they set it fast enough. And they do get it off. Bradley to the right side. He throws it to Epps. Epps is there, but it's knocked down. Nice job
by April.
By April, the quarterback. That's all right. But it'll be 3rd and about 4 to start the second quarter. So, Jay, a first good quarter for the Frogs.
Couldn't ask for anything better other than a touchdown on that drive.
Touchdown, right. So, anyway, it's the end of the first quarter. It's Bret Harte 3, Escalon nothing, and it'll be Bret Harte with a 3rd down and about 4. His way through for a nice gain of about 6 yards and a 1st down.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to be stopped short, and he just kept driving.
So they moved the chains to about the 44-yard line. So Bret Harte, again, drive going. They started on the 12.
Yeah, this is impressive.
And they're holding the ball. Their first drive went about 8 minutes. And then Escalon was, well, they had 2 series and out. And here's the misdirection to the right side. A good hold. Jesse Green for about 5 yards.
Green bring it up to the midfield line.
Tackled right on about the 50.
Duran.
Yeah, this is so nice to see, mixing in that good hard running game with a good passing game.
Yeah, and what Escalon's used to seeing from Bret Hart for many, many years was they're saying the double wing with the running and
run around the tackle.
And Bret Hart usually didn't have a big line. This year, Bret Hart has the bigger line, and they're spreading things out, mixing it up, pro offense. This time handed on the left side. Good hole. Tackle after a gain of about 3 or 4. Andrew Ritchie. He's 5'7", 170, so he's not a big guy. Got tackled hard with about a yard short of the first down.
Yeah, but what we've seen in that first 3 games, we've seen different running backs coming in and it's nice interchangeable parts.
Absolutely, and if you look on the sidelines, you'll see that Bret Hart is not short of substitutes either. In the past, there's been times when they had 24 guys on the team, and now they're about 40. Straight off hand up to Green. Green hits the hole, and he makes it for the first down. He had about 2 yards on that one, Jay.
I like the way he finished that.
Absolutely. I was afraid he had dropped it.
Well, April gave him a hit, and he just put his head down and hit him as hard as he got hit.
For some reason or another, we're saying April on both sides of the line. It's not different than Modesto Christian.
Right.
Their quarterback was also one of their best defenders.
Right.
Well, Bret Hart's going to regroup. They were coming up the line, and they're going to call a timeout with a first down on about the close to the 45-yard line of Escalon.
Let's go fancy our sponsors. Talk about.
Okay, we want to talk about our sponsors, and thank you. We have a new sponsor, American Carpet and Floor Covering in Arnold. And hey, you want something to cover your floor? They got it.
Carpeting, flooring. What a
got
better place to go to than a carpeting, flooring store.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got Ebbets Pass Mountain Chronicle out of Arnold. Hopefully Ross will come through with us.
Okay, Darby Plumbing in Douglas Flat. You know they always keep your pipes flowing.
We got that Vintage Realty. If you want to buy a house, sell a house, they'll do it out of Angels Camp.
And Blooms and Things, Arnold Angels Camp in San Andreas. And it's only a month from the bouquet time. But they have all your flower needs. Plus, they have all your gift needs, too.
Yeah, if you need any kind of lumber supply, any kind of hardware supply, you go to Calaveras Lumber out of Angels Camp.
And Pinnell's Carpet One in Angels Camp, all kinds of floor coverings and window coverings.
We've got the competing floor covering people now. And we got KW Emerson, Grandma Jean, we love you out of San Andreas.
And Ebbets Pass Gas in Arnold as Bret Hart lines up with a 1st and 10. Ebbets Pass Gas, fine local company. Good price as always. Handed off up to Salele, but he's caught in the backfield, loss of a couple. So Escalon was ready for that play. It was a delayed handoff, and I don't think that's going to be one they can do against Escalon, because Escalon's too quick in the center there to do a delayed handoff.
Yeah, we've seen that 2 or 3 times now. It's been caught from behind or caught in the head.
So it's 2nd and about 12 for the Frogs. And Ty Bradley has been showing his stuff again tonight like he has for the last 3 weeks. And he throws a straight drop back, and Epps is trying to break into the clear, but here's Ty Bradley around the right side, and he goes out of bounds. He gains about 8 yards, but he was short of the first down, going out about 3 yards short of the first down, I think.
It's okay. He did the smart thing by going out of bounds. He had 2 guys who were ready to put a lick on him.
Absolutely. Well, he had 1 guy in the backfield ready to put a lick on him, and he got away. So
he almost stripped him up, too.
So it'll be 3rd and 3. So Bradley showed some good speed on that play also.
Yeah, we've seen him run the ball a few times this year.
But Bradley's about 6 feet. He weighs about 170, so he's nowhere big as April is. But he did show some nice speed around the corner on that time. Let's see, we have wideouts both sides, too. And now there's nobody in the backfield. 3-step drop back, and it's a quarterback draw, and here goes Bradley, and he's tackled short of the first down.
He didn't follow up his guard and tackle. He would have had that first down.
Yeah, it looked like he had enough room to run, and he was knocked down, and it's going to be 4th, and it looks like about 2. It's on the Escalon, if I can see the markers here, 41-yard line?
36.
36? Yeah, about 36. And now Ty Bradley is the punter, but he's awful close to the line of scrimmage. And here comes a man in motion. And he is going to punt it, and he's a short punt to the right side. Let's see if it can hold short. No, it goes in the end zone. Too bad. It was just a little too long. So Escalon will take over for their second time tonight. 1st and 10 on the 20.
On their own 20-yard line.
I like this kid. Let's say 8-13.
Hey, hey, hey.
Getting?
Hey. 8:13 left to go in the second quarter of play. Bret Hart ahead, 3-0. Quick handoff up the gut, and here comes an Escalon runner for a gain of about 11.
37.
That was number Josh May. Josh May, 6'2", 220. So he's a big runner. And Escalon shows the kind of thing that they like to do most often on their first play of this drive. But, you know, Bret Hart once again kept the ball for about 6 minutes. 7:55 left to go in the second quarter. This time handed to the right side. Another big hole. Another first, and it could go all the way. Depends on how fast Bret Hart is. And no, it's going to be an Escalon touchdown.
Yeah, those were kind of the days when we had Josh Giroux, when 6'2", 220 pounders.
That was a 60-some yard run. And pretty quick for a big guy once he got past everybody.
Yeah, so two guys hit him and they got stopped, not Josh.
So there's a wake-up call for Bret Hart. They have to, if they're going to drive it, they have to keep it up. They have to keep it going.
Yep.
Extra point try by Duran. 7:39 left to go in the second quarter of play. There's the kick. It looks good. And it is. So Escalon goes up 7-3 over your Bullfrogs with that 7:39 left to go in the first half.
Now shows Cougar 7, Bullfrogs 3.
Call because our defense was not ready for those plays. And it wasn't fancy. It was a straight play.
Both of them.
Okay, so Duran to kick off for Escalon as Escalon has gone up 7-3 over the Frogs. Only, whether it's at a two-play drive of 80 yards for Escalon. So Escalon has had the ball for maybe 4 minutes this whole game. And here's a squiggly little kick picked up on about the 15-yard line by Salele. Salele gets a good hole and he runs through it up to about the 33-yard line. Yeah, so Escalon has actually had the ball maybe 4 minutes, and they're ahead 7-3 with 7.5 minutes left to go in the first half.
Yeah, it's too bad. Bret Hart has dominated this game so far, other than those two plays right there.
And if you notice that on the Bret Hart for the defense, those are two straight-up plays. They were not, you know, there wasn't much misdirection involved or anything.
Power running.
Just power running, and the blocking was good. But they have to be ready for those misdirection plays too. So it's something that is hard for a high school team to, you know, that double wing formation when they run it well. And here's Bradley on a quarterback draw. He goes ahead for about 3 yards. Boy, he thought he had a pretty good-sized hole, and it collapsed on him pretty quick, but it'll be 2nd and 7.
Well, I think he's trying to set up those linemen so they don't get a straight rush on him every time.
Well, as you see, there's no lack of imagination from Bret Hart tonight. I mean, they're running their entire offense.
Right.
You know, short passes, quick passes,
To them,
medium
this
passes.
is still like preseason. They're getting ready for
Yeah.
that league.
They sure are. Oh, Bradley drops the ball. He picks it up. No, he didn't get it. But it was gathered in by a Bret Hart lineman.
Both Frogs do recover the ball.
So the Frogs, that
74.
was, yeah, Tucker Weathers
Yeah.
did
Good heads up.
6 foot, 245, grabbed the ball, a loss of about a yard, so it'll be 3rd and 8. That is the first time tonight Bret Hart has had the ball where they look a little bit sluggish.
Yeah. This drive hasn't looked so great so far.
Wideouts both sides. Bradley throws it to the left side, complete, and a first down.
30.
That was
Zilke.
Travis Zilke,
First down, Bull Frogs.
knocked out of bounds hard by number 3, Rocky Overturf.
For the Cougars, number
That's a great name for a football player, Overturf. I've never heard that name, have you?
Either that or a sod company.
44-yard line.
Overturf sod. Sounds pretty good. Okay, first down for the Frogs.
Or a manure salesman. Over turf.
Straight drop back, and Bradley can't find an open receiver. He throws it now. There is one. Salele. First down and more. Down to the Escalon 35-yard line goes Robert Salele. All the deep receivers that Bradley was looking for were covered, and Salele was wide
And
open.
you got to love that move he just put on April. April left his shoes in that one.
Boy, Bret Hart had 3 receivers going deep on that play. Bradley, they were all covered. They're playing deep, and they were all covered, and Salele, there was nobody within 10 yards of him when he caught the pass.
Well, Salele had to be his 3rd or 4th choice.
Yeah, well, but you can see that Bradley sees the field and throws it to his 3rd or 4th choice. 3-step drop back, quick pass inside, but Escalon's ready for it, and it's going to be no gain.
Ben Morin.
That was Ben Morin catching that pass coming in from wide receiver position. He gained a couple of inches.
Cowan.
And how many years in a row have we been calling a Morin name, huh?
Yeah, it seems like a lot. Whenever you say how many names, how many years in a row, I just have trouble with that because I can't remember year from year.
That's okay.
Okay, this time they have a power formation to the right side. Bradley fakes a pass. He's open. Wide open is Apps. Can he get it? And it's interference all the way. He was totally interfered with and no call. That had to be the worst interference I've ever seen besides last week. Oh, my. He ran into him and pushed him into the end zone. What kind of refereeing is this?
It's a travesty.
That was pretty questionable.
Wow.
No home field advantage yet.
Kelly
Yeah.
needed some glasses. Now the ref
I
needs
guess
it.
there's no home
All
field
5 of them.
advantage at Bret Hart tonight. 3rd and 10. Over the center to Salele. Catches it first down. 15-yard gain. Take that. Right, Jay?
I guess their only saving grace is they thought the guy was going for the ball. That's the only thing they could have thought he was doing.
You still can't run into the receiver. You can't run over
You
the
have
receiver.
a right to the ball. If you turn on it, he's going for it. That might be the only thing they're thinking. I'm trying to justify the lack of a call. It was still a
That
travesty.
was a travesty, yeah. First down on the 17-yard line for the Frogs. 4:21 and counting. First half of play. Bret Hart down 7-3 to the Cougars of Escalon. And there's going to call a illegal procedure penalty on one of the guards for Bret Hart. He went down into his three-point stance just as the ball was high. So it'll make it 1st and 15 for the Frogs, back on their own 22. That'd make it the 23. Don't want to misjudge it. Yeah, Jay, on a play like that, on that receiver, I mean, it's one thing to go after the ball, but the defender had his hands out, pushed the receiver.
No,
and, you know, yeah, I know. I mean,
their only justification
but he was trying to catch the ball. Right. You wonder, you know, if he knew where the ball was. So Bradley under center with the 1st and 15. And this time he's straight drop back, and he's hit twice and finally knocked down. Oh, boy, he's sacked. Oh, for a good 10 yards at least. So Bradley was knocked down. Oh, I'm saying maybe a 12-yard loss. It'll be now 2nd and forever.
Once again, don't get greedy. Try and get it all in one play.
The first down marker is somewhere around the 7-yard line, and the ball's down on the 35. So they have to go all the way to the 7 for a first down, and they have 3 downs to do it. Bradley puts it up, and it's a good and complete to Kashera. And Kashera has gone out of bounds, and it's going to be on about the 13-yard line.
And he took out a cameraman along the way.
So it'll be 3rd and about 6. So they got a big chunk of that back. This is 4-down territory. Nice throw and nice catch by Kashera.
Super.
Another Bradley drop back, and he's got his. Oh, and what it looked like.
Yeah, Zilke was getting caught up in traffic there.
Yeah, Zilke was pinned between 2 guys and couldn't get out to catch it, so it'll be 4th and about 6. I'm not sure. I don't think this is field goal territory.
I don't know. I think you could make a field goal from here, but
yeah,
I think Scott Edwards wants to go for 7.
Well, down
6.
Down by 4. 2:51 left to go in the first half. It would be nice if the Frogs go in at halftime up on these Cougars.
Either that, maybe try a hard count right here.
A straight drop back. There's a receiver, and it's over the wrong shoulder.
Oh, boy.
Oh. So it's going to go over on downs to the Escalon Cougars.
10 for the Cougars.
I'll tell you, that middle of the field, if he can keep it to the middle of the field, he's doing great.
14-yard line.
And I don't think the clock ran that play. It still says 2:46, and I think that's when it started.
Time stood still.
Apparently. But Bret Hart they have to really get their defense going here right now, and they're running 2 guys on late. They better run 1 guy off because they only needed 1. And here goes that same handoff from last time, and the power run for a good 9 yards.
37 May carrying the ball.
Yeah, they're testing that left side of the Bullfrog defense.
Mm-hmm. That was Josh May running the ball for the Cougars for an 8-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 2 with 2:24 and counting in the first half.
They do have a big right tackle on that side.
Yes, they do. And there's a stunt on the right side, and there was a quick handoff, and that was a play that cut back over the center, and Green made the tackle. So it'll be 3rd and a short 1 for the Cougars. Now we're under 2 minutes in the first half. Of course, this is the time when Escalon has always been good at lulling you to sleep with these runs, and then bust a long pass. So got to watch for that too. And Bret Hart only has 1 deep defender. Right side, first down and more. And that's that big back, Josh May. Josh May, 6'2", 220. Salele makes the tackle.
And he looks like he's all thighs and torso.
So Escalon with the first down. They're on about their own 33-yard line now. Counting down, 1:20 left to go in the first half. Bret Hart down 7-3. And here comes the sweep to the left side, and there's a flag thrown about the
Looks
line
like
of
a
scrimmage.
clip over here or a illegal block underneath the knees.
Yeah, that's that wide
block.
receiver chop blocking. And they're going to call holding, and holding, it's going to be on. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. There's only 1:07 left to go in the half.
Sweatshirts or t-shirts at the last game, sweatshirts or t-shirts, they are available.
So I'm going to run real quickly through the sponsors again. Evans Fast Gas, KW Emerson, Pinnell's Carpet One, Calaveras Lumber, Blooms and Things, Vintage Realty, Darby Plumbing, and American Carpet and Floor Covering. I want to thank all those sponsors. We wouldn't be bringing you Bret Hart High School football without those sponsors. And we're not only on the filming for the public access channel, but also we're on the pinetree.net from up in Arnold, and this should be going out live, but there's not many people left at home, I don't think. And there's a pass out to the left side and right side, and it's incomplete. Overthrown with 52 seconds left to go.
Those of you watching at home, you've got that blood moon out tonight.
Absolutely. For a minute I thought I was going to have to start howling. That penalty was 10 yards, but the flag was thrown 2 yards deep in the backfield. So it's second and about 22. Escalon back on their own 20-yard line.
And folks, Mike only starts howling when he has to pay the bill at a restaurant.
Absolutely. Especially when Jay's there and he's eating 3 entrees.
You got it.
Another drop back. There's a draw play, and that's the big back, May, and he's knocked down. A good hit. Let's see, it was Taylor Bergdorf that hit him first, knocked him backwards, and he fell backwards. Let's see, he went ahead for about 4 yards.
And it looks like Escalon's just content to go in the half with a 4-point lead. Although, like you said, this is a good time for them to bust open that big pass play.
25 and counting, and they're lazing around.
Receivers.
Absolutely, they're lazing around. They're thinking, hey, Bret Hart, but Bret Hart needs to have their deep backs way back.
Well, we got Austin Epps and Salele. They're two fastest guys out here.
Wide out, way wide to the left side. And here's a sweep around the right side.
Uh-oh.
And out of bounds with 2 seconds left to go in that first half is Rocky.
Yeah, good thing Bergdorf knocked him out of bounds.
That was over turf. He gained a few yards, and it's 4th and 10 yards to go, but there's only 2 seconds left to go in the half, so why not let it all hang out, Jay?
Yeah, they're going to.
And there's a timeout called by the Cougars with 2 seconds left in the half.
I guess they're going to go for the long bomb now.
I don't know. That's kind of strange, but we'll see.
You have ordered.
They don't.
Either way, they know they got one play. So.
I know one thing: Jesus Duran cannot kick it that far.
Pick them up. They are ready for you.
Of course, if they set it up, we have to call the timeout just as the ball snapped. But the pros have been doing that.
Yeah.
I guess actually the Raiders lost the game because of that. Anyway, 2 seconds. What? Oh, we were having fun.
Don't get started talking about the Raiders.
Look at that moon.
Yeah, we see the bad moon. The first half lines up scrimmage. Bret Hart with 4 deep defenders, thinking it's going to be a pass, but no, it's April around the left side, and April goes forward for a nice gain in the end of the first half. So Jay, this is Jay Jones and Mike Wasicki, along with our producer cameraman Kelly Wright on thepinetree.net. It's Escalon 7 and your Frogs 3, end of the first half.